Well, basically, my background is RCMP, and so I come with a lot of background in terms of exploitation and criminal activity, and this kind of got married to Christian ministry through a bunch of just horrendous pedophile cases I had that were Canadians assaulting children in Cambodia, and then that opened up a whole world of what is actually happening with human trafficking and sex exploitation. So what we do is we provide reintegration services for people who have been trafficked. And what we have the opportunity of doing is ministering to them. And in recent years, what that involved is actually bringing back many Cambodian girls from overseas because they've been sold like product all over the place. Absolutely. Any large sex trade in the world, be it Eastern Europe or Thailand, or sort of ground zero for us is Cambodia, that only runs because there's customers to run it, and those customers are frequently the guys with the money who are international sex tourists. In some ways it seems overwhelming, but just because something's overwhelming doesn't mean to say you can't deal with it. And just because you can't deal with the whole situation doesn't mean to say we're not called to deal with individual lives that God gives us. And that's what I have the privilege of seeing, is these individual lives absolutely transformed. So it's actually a very exciting world for me, even though if you step back and look at the big picture, it's pretty distressing. The biblical imperative for us is do not be overwhelmed. Do not be overwhelmed. We serve a God that is never shocked, is never surprised, is never overwhelmed, always has the skills, and we have to rely on Him because He can tackle any problem in the world. And we know that in our own lives. Human trafficking and modern-day slavery is no different. He is the solution to this. So we shouldn't be overwhelmed and we shouldn't be dismayed. Absolutely. We do cognitive therapy, narrative therapy, medical intervention. We do all those things, and we do them at the very best level we can. But all of those things, I believe, will sort of cobble a life together. They'll kind of pull it together a little bit so maybe this girl can go on. But if you want a life that knows joy, that knows hope, that can move ahead whole, albeit with scars. There's always scars. We're not denying that at all. But if you want hope in a real life, that comes from the knowledge that you are to die for. While the numbers are overwhelming, what keeps me going is the fact that we get the privilege of working with individual lives. Individual lives absolutely transformed, where you can see young women of absolute dignity who have been abused horribly, and yet when they understand that they are to die for, they are that valuable, it's transformative for them.